Hi, I'm Brinson, and today I am doing a project. Should be either part 2, 3, 4, 170, I'm not quite sure, but it depends how it uploads. Anywho, today I am talking about Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison, either way. And the point of this project is to make an argument or point or position. And my point or argument or position is I believe the narrator himself is a crazy person, and I will explain why in this video. That's how you do it now. That's how you gotta do it. Anyway, so let's start with the story itself. Invisible Man is about, in short, racism. You need anything more simple as that? It's about racism. And more specifically, it's about the point of being used and how life can really twist your plans if you want to be a little bit more diverse into it. Now, the style of the story is written in postmodernism, which basically means it has more meta / fourth wall breaking moments. If you need an example, think of Deadpool or some other story where the character talks to the audience or a third party. Basically, they are aware that they are in a story. Now, to get back on my point of the narrator is crazy, let's first go through the man himself. Who is he? What is he? And why do I think he's crazy? Well, in the first bit of the story, he is literally talking to us, the audience, and he's discussing how he's getting back at the power company for reasons that might seem clear later on. He steals light bulbs and he hangs out at the bottom of an hotel and he just turns on light bulbs all day. I believe he has over 1,000 light bulbs. I think 1,037, if I remember properly. And he just leaves them on all day, and that's his way of getting back. And he knows that people are not going to care, but that's his way of getting back. Now, first and foremost, doing this seems pretty crazy. For example, right there. But then we get into his life and why he might be like that. Starting off as a young man, he is a very respectable, intelligent, and all-around cool dude. He's very smart. He went to school. He listens to advice from his granddad, which, if anybody listens to their advice of their granddad, I think is a cool dude. And his granddad is also an interesting person, which I will get to him in a moment. But throughout his life, he is very active. Some might say he's even an active protagonist, where he's pushing the story into doing things for him or for others. And now, in the version of the story I'm reading is the shortened version by the Norton books, and I will basically keep around to just that book's length. But I did kind of skip around the rest of the book just to kind of emphasize my point. So in the very beginning, he's asked to give him a speech, and he gives the speech, but not in the way he seems. Later on in the story, he joins a group called the Brotherhood. He thinks it's for active goals that he likes, goals that he wants to be a part of. But in the end, it doesn't end up to be a good thing. And in the very end of the story, during a fight, a protest, or whatever you want to call it, he falls down a hole, and that's where he is at the beginning of the story. Just a hobo in the bottom of a sewer. And that's how the story begins. So it's this very good loop, I would say. Or, there you go. And all these events, he is actively pursuing and doing these capable of doing. He gives the speech. He joins the group. He is part of the protest or riot or thing or argument at the very end of the book. But for this simplicity of this video, I will simply just be referring to the speech itself. He attends it because he's asked and he agrees. Now, this event would screw up a lot of people if it happened. So bear with me if you're not exactly too comfortable with that kind of subject matter. But he agrees to do a speech. He believes it's a speech at a university. And he's going to basically say, hey, we all have our own responsibility. That's the point. He goes to this event, and basically what happens is that he enters a billiard room with a ring in the middle, with a naked girl, and a bunch of white dudes smoking and drinking. Now, for a black man in the 40s and 30s, this already does not look like a good situation for him. Even though I don't know how well they would be able to get away with that in the 40s, but whatever. So, he's stripped, thrown in the ring, and he's forced to fight this girl. And at the end of the book's version of the story, he's giving the speech, and he's being taunted. He's like, "Loud!" The crowd's going, "Louder! Speak clear!" Or this, that. And he's stumbling on this one phrase: self-responsibility, or social responsibility. And they want him to say louder, clearer. He keeps messing it up until he just says self or social equality. I don't remember if it's self or social. Doesn't really change the point of the story, though. And the room falls silent. They don't like that because they're racist and they don't like equality. And that's how the story really ends, for at least from my version. I know I've read the full version, or not read, but kind of went over it, and he gets out of this situation, humiliated, scammed. People think he's just a terrible person because, white people in those times apparently had more influence no matter what. So, there you go. And it really just shows his life situation, because if that was the beginning of the story, you can only imagine what the rest of the story is like, and that could drive any person crazy. And I think that's hinted at in the story, where in the end he's literally talking to you, the audience, the reader, and you have no clue if he's making sense or not. Heck, you don't even know if the story itself is making sense. You don't even know if he's lying through his teeth on this one. And it really shows how it works in the story, which I always thought was interesting. But to wrap it up, I thought the story was good. It's very much a downer, so if you are not really feeling sad, don't read this. Or don't want to feel sad, I guess I should say. Don't read this. If you like a good story about racism and self, give it a read. It's pretty good. I think the narrator is crazy, and I have pretty good examples of events that could drive any person crazy. And I'm probably just rambling to extend my time, even though I'm past it. And I keep looking at the viewfinder instead of the camera, so if you see me do that, just know I'm not like looking at a script. I'm looking. In fact, my script's in front of me. A little behind the scenes skip there. I'm going on a little rant here, so I'm just gonna end it. Thanks for watching.